This is Sports Talk with Steve Jones. We'll be doing story time with Steve the last couple days. This is now story number 5 with Steve.
2005. Penn State puts together a fabulous season where now they know if they beat Michigan State in East Lansing, they will win the Big Ten championship. You know, this is a year where they've already had the great whiteout victory over Ohio State, where Tamba Hali flipped Troy Smith on his head. Penn State has had an incredible year where only one last-second touchdown pass, literally on the final play to Mario Manningham, is the only thing that's keeping this team from being undefeated. So they're in East Lansing. Michael Robinson and the crew go out and put together a fabulous performance, especially in the second half. Robinson has a long touchdown run. Penn State wins the game. The Nittany Lions are Big Ten champions for the first time since 1994. Well, it's a dark, dank afternoon. It's kind of like, the ones I can remember at Michigan State. But now it's time to travel back. And if you recall in 1994, when Penn State beat Illinois and clinched the Big Ten title in 1994, that was on the road, and they flew back, and they had a big rally in Rec Hall. Well, the same thing is going to happen this time. There's going to be a big rally in Rec Hall. So, hey, they take the trophy, they put the trophy on the plane, the whole deal, and then Guido D'Elia gets a hold of Alan Zamitis, Michael Robinson, Joe, and me. And he says, hey, look, they're doing this rally. He said, you guys are the ones that are going to talk. And when they say, I'm going to talk, I'm just emceeing and saying who's speaking next. But, I have to know what order we're going in and so forth. So that's why I need to be in the meeting. And Joe says, I don't really want to say too much. He says, let the players talk, Steve. I said, sure, whatever, that's fine. Well, now we're coming into land in State College. There are 8,000 people, 6,000 to 8,000 people in Rec Hall. This is how excited they are by this whole thing. Yeah, as you referenced on the show the previous week about, 2003, 2004, it was kind of lean years. Penn State won a total of 7 games. Now they're Big Ten champions. So the people are excited about it. Well, normally when we come into land at University Park Airport, let's say 9 times out of 10, we land north to south. So you come in over 80, it's Interstate 80, it's Bellefonte, Seibert Road, Rock Road, 5 buildings, blue lights, land the plane, right? How many times have I done that in my life? So now we're coming into land, and we are Interstate 80, Bellefonte, Seibert Road, Rock Road, 5 buildings. He's like 5 buildings, and Wayne Sebastianelli is sitting across the aisle from me, Dr. Sebastianelli, and Wayne looks at me and goes, oh my God, Steve, we're coming in fast. Yeah, we're coming in fast, all right. I'm looking out like, yeah, we're coming in fast. Those 5 buildings, boom, they went by in a blur. All right. He takes it and he pounds it into the runway, and we pop back up in the air. And we float down the runway, and then boom, he pounds it again. And of course, then everybody in the plane is like, whoa, and he finally gets it to a stop right at the end. Everybody looks around. Everybody's just checking. Is everybody okay? Yeah, everybody's, except for holy cow, what was that? Everybody's okay. And so, right, they brought the buses out to where the plane was. And so we all got on the buses, and everybody's like, okay. Michael Robinson grabs the trophy. Boom. We go to Rec Hall. Nobody knows this happened. Okay. And we go in there. I introduce Joe. He is very brief. I introduce Mike. I introduce Alan. They both say hey, thanks so much for being here. It's awesome. Great time. Everybody's going crazy. They love it. The trophy's there. That's what they want to see. The whole deal. It's fabulous. Okay. Well, now, I don't know, 2 weeks later, I've got a game at Texas A&M. So we're going to fly out of the FBO, flight base operations, right? We're going to fly out of the FBO, out of the charter area. And Carl worked in that charter area forever. Carl says, boy, I hope it's better than the last flight you had. And I said, yeah. I said, that was a doozy coming in from Michigan State. And he says, Steve, we're standing here. He says, he came down, straight down, hit the back tail of the plane, and sparks flew off the back of the plane. He said, you guys then went about 50 or 60 feet back up in the air, and you floated about 300 feet down the runway. He says, and then it pounded it down again, and the whole thing sparked going on all over the place. I'm looking at Carl, I'm thinking, really? I said, I knew it wasn't great. I said, I didn't realize it was that bad. Well, after hearing that story, about a month and a half later, 2 months later, all of us get sent a fax. It's from the National Transportation Safety Board. Right? The NTSB has ruled it an official crash. Spider Caldwell and Kirk Deal were the ones that said, hey, we sent this over to you. So we're all standing there. We're like reading it. Now, the best line in the entire deal was 109 people on board, all survived. Now, that's always a good, that's the best part right there. He ended up doing, the pilot, $3 million damage to the aft fuselage of the plane in the landings. $3 million damage to the aft fuselage of the plane because of how he landed it here at University Park. It's unbelievable. So when people say a crash, it's like, remember the old Ed DeChellis line, any flight walk away is a good one? I said, well, and they all land. Well, that one landed, and that was a doozy, and it turned out it was actually an official crash. Like, wow. Whew. Fortunately, all's well that ends well. And then Penn State went on to win the Orange Bowl over Florida State and finished third behind Texas and USC that particular year. So there's story time with Steve.
That is story time with Steve. Well, then this was fun. Hopefully, we could do this more frequently as well. I enjoyed hearing a few of these. There were a couple I admittedly knew I did not know. two of them though. This was definitely a great time. We'll have more coming up on Sports Talk with Steve Jones in the future on Story Time with Steve.